Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast, bud.
What's up, gang? Welcome to the G.R.I.N.D. Simon Arias here. Get ready, it's a new day. What's up? Welcome to another episode of the G.R.I.N.D. Get ready, it's a new day. And we're going to talk a little bit about the similarities that I've noticed from athletes in sports and why I think a lot of athletes transition well into not only my business, but business in general. But specifically, I love working with athletes. And so I started to think about, how can I articulate this, and maybe people that weren't athletes, maybe they could start to adopt and adapt some of these principles that I think would help them, go to the next level. So, when I think about sports, I think about the key thing. One of the key things is I think you have to learn playing sports that while you may love the game, there's going to be things in that game, in the process and preparation of it, that you don't love. So I'll give you an example. I remember in college, we would have to run in the off season in Erie, Pennsylvania, where I played at Mercyhurst University, Division II, 4-year starter at strong safety. And we would have to walk to the gym, the basketball gym, in the snow, which is, about a 5-10 minute walk, and then change shoes and be ready to run by 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 5:30, in the morning. And so that alarm clock's going off 5 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning in college. And then after that, we had to go to 8 o'clock classes, a lot of us, and continue to go to school, where later on in the day we would have to do some more things, for sports. And so I think what sports teaches people is that if you're looking to get a result, even if you like something, if you don't start the understanding process of there's things in the process that you're not going to feel like doing, you're going to, what you want versus what happens is not going to pair up. Because if I wanted to play and I wanted to be a starter and I wanted to be a captain, but I wasn't willing to walk to that gym at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, I couldn't play on that team. I couldn't expect that result. I couldn't expect to lead others. Do you think I wanted to do that? Do you think we wanted to do that as a team? No, we didn't want to do that. Heck, the coaches had to be there. You think the coaches wanted to do that? The coaches wanted to be there. The leaders of the team were there. I remember my head coach being there at 50 years old with a family early in the morning. You think he wanted to do that? Those are things in the process that you learn to do in sports, that if you don't lose that and you allow it to transition into the world and into business, people are going to be a lot further along. Somewhere along after you graduate high school or college, or you stop playing sports, people lose that feeling of, even if I don't want to do it, I'm going to do it anyway. And people start to just do what they feel like doing, even if they know it's getting them further away from the life that they want. The next thing is, I remember learning that there was times that my coaches would say things to us, and I'm going to ask for, any kids out there. I know there's some folks, like my girl Francesca, listens sometimes, and she's not even in high school yet, and so I need an excuse me to the parents out there, but I got to use the F word. I remember my coaches saying, "What the fuck are you doing out here?" And cut the bullshit, and just in our ass, okay, as coaches. And I'm talking about from time that I played pee-wee football all the way up. And what I'm grateful for and thankful for as a young person, I remember having, I think, one of my hardest coaches on me when we were 8, 9, 10 years old, which I think would serve to prove to help me in college as a college athlete, because he was so hard on us. And so I think you learn in sports at times how to accept hard coaching. And then in business, people start to get soft or weak. If you're in sports and you can't take hard coaching, very few people are going to be able to make it if you can't get coached hard and you can't take what your coach is saying to you. Also in sports, the sports don't play the person that's been there the longest. In sports, they play the best player available. If you're a coach and you're only playing the seniors, even if they're not the best, you're not going to have a job very long. You have to play the freshman if the freshman gets better results. You have to play the freshman if the freshman has more talent and they can get the job done. And in sports, you can get beat out. There's times people they're the starter as a sophomore, but they're not the starter as a junior. Sports will teach you how to compete, and that transfers over into the business world where you have to get rid of this mindset and mentality that, I've been here for 5 years or, I've been here for 10 years, that somebody owes you something. Success is rented. You can't own it. You have to pay the price, and the rent's due typically on a daily or an annual basis. You have to be able to compete mentally as an athlete. Even if these are people around you that you like or that you love, playing sports, you have to beat people out. You have to be able to compete. Whether you like it or not, if you don't like it, then you shouldn't be playing sports, because you're playing and they're judging you based off wins and losses, which is a competition. And so you have to learn especially being a part of a team. And even individual sports, you're a part of a team. You have coaches that help you, teammates that help you, people that you drill with. It's a team. And so as a team, we got to practice and we got to compete, and then we got to collectively compete against others. I'm telling you, you got to be able to bring that mindset. And what I did in business is I would find people and I would say, all right, this is the person that I'm going to beat this person. I'm going to beat that person. Even if I didn't say it to that person, in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to pass up this person. In sports, you also have injuries. I don't think you can play sports your whole life and not have any injuries. Well, guess what? In business, in the real world, you're going to have things that injure you. Maybe it's not your ankle or your knee, but maybe you lost your best person and you're injured. Maybe something happened to your business and you're in a lawsuit. So you're an injury. You got to bounce back. There's things that happen in business that may set you back 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Sometimes you'll see people get hurt and they're out for the whole season. They're out for 12 months. Your business may get set back 6 months or a year. You need to rehabilitate, and come back stronger. In sports, you learn that you win and you lose. When you lose, you learn from it. You watch the film, you watch the tape, and you get better. You don't quit. In business, you're going to have wins and losses. There's going to be times where you lose and you got to grow from it. You got to get better from it, and it's all freaking mental. You can't quit as soon as you start to lose. In sports, if you're winning and you come off a win, that's why you have people on upset alert. When you think that you've arrived, you're about to get knocked off. It's difficult. This is why I have so much respect for the New England Patriots, because everybody's gunning for them. People are all rooting against them. They're sick of seeing them win. They're been on top, and they continue to play at a high level and find a way to win. And so in business, in life, you got to learn how to win and get to the top and stay on top. Stay hungry, stay aggressive, keep working, keep pushing. And very often people get there and they fall off. They get there and they fall off because they stop having that hunger that they had when they were an underdog. They stop working like they were working as a rookie when they become a veteran. And so it's hard. And so I want you to learn we got to transfer that from the playing days, the athletic days, into our business days. In sports, when you look at people in high school or pee-wees in college, all the way up, they do it broke for years before they make it big. They play for free and don't make a lot of money doing it before they start to make all this other money. And so you'll see people at times, maybe they're not making a ton of money in the process and they get discouraged in their first year or in their second year. But then you'll see people, oh, he's playing for a $16 million contract. Or this person, oh, this is bullshit. This boxer just fought and in one fight he made $10 million or $5 million. Well, were you there 15 years ago when he was broke and could barely eat and pay his bills because he was boxing and working out for free when nobody was paying him shit? And so there's things in the process that you got to do broke, you got to do when you're not making a lot of money that will equivalent to you making a lot of money. In sports, you have to learn discipline. I remember no matter how good I was, matter of fact, if I was the captain or the starter, it was even harder on me. I couldn't be late for practice. Anybody back in the day, I remember playing pee-wee sports. You were late to practice, the coach would just be doing this. That means just run laps. Just get to stepping, get to running. If you jump off sides, there's a penalty. You can't give an excuse. Oh, this person did this. Or, oh, this person in the middle of the game. Nobody gives a shit. Just move your ass back 5 yards. And so we learn discipline and accountability in sports, and then we move over into business and we got excuses if you're late or if you jump off sides and have a hard time with being held accountable for those actions. In sports, I learned the best players, the coaches with the best players typically won more than they lost. And so you learn from sports recruiting. In business, you got to be able to recruit and have the best players as well. In sports, you got to be obsessed. Round the clock. You know, you ask people that play college football or college sports, this ain't a 20-hour work week. This ain't a 30-hour work week. Kids that are playing college sports, they're probably putting in 50, 60 hours a week to that sport on top of being a student. In business, if you want to be great, you got to be obsessed. And you're not going to be able to do it in 20 hours, 30 hours. If you want to be the star player in sports, you want to be the pitcher, you want to be the quarterback, you want to be the head coach, you got to be able to handle the pressure that's put on you. In business, you want to make the money, you want to be the president, you want to be the CEO, you want to be the top leader, you want to be the boss, you better be able to handle the pressure that's on your shoulders if you want to be the quarterback. You want to make the 17 mil, you want to make the 5 mil, you want to make the 10 mil, that means when there's 100,000 screaming fans and it's 4th and 5 and the whole country's watching, you got to be able to deliver and not panic. And so in business, it's the exact same way. People start shying away from the pressure, but they want the money that pressure brings. You got to understand that in sports, you know, when you really look at the percentages, you know, people talk about turnover a lot or you know, not a lot of people can do it. Well, guess what? Something that a lot of people can do, you're not going to make a lot of money at. Something that a lot of people can do means it's easy, probably not a lot of value. Newsflash, anything in life worth doing that's going to be great is going to come with obstacles, adversities, and difficulties. How many people make it out of high school? I saw a statistic that and I think this was more football related, but 7% of high school athletes make it to play college sports in general. 7%. So that's not 10, that's not 50, that's not 80, that's not most kids, 7%. Less than 2% make it in D1. Less than 2%. So when you look at business, if you want to play at the elite levels, you got to understand maybe 7% are going to make it. 1% if you want to play D1. If you want to do things D1 in business, you got to be a 1. That means 100 people are going to try your job, and 1 or 2 of those people are going to make it. That's playing D1. So that means, you know, if you look at, and I think I saw there was, I think it was 1,500, don't quote me, 1,500 high school athletes. 100 of them go to college. and 1% of them end up playing pro. So that basically means out of 1,500 people, one of them makes it to the pros. In the NFL, only 2% of the seniors get drafted. So all college football players playing around the country, morning, noon, night, 2% of the people get drafted. So if you look at the statistics, less than 1%, a fraction of a percentage of high school players ever get drafted. A fraction of a percentage. Oh, and then by the way, when you make it to the NFL, a lot of people will tell you the NFL stands for not for long. Average tenure, 3.5 years. Things that pay well are hard, champ. And you learn that in sports. But somehow in life, you get into a life or you get into business and something in your mind thinks, oh, this is hard. This ain't as hard as sports was. You just stop being an athlete in your mind. Things that pay well are going to be hard. Things that are hard are gonna do by you well at times, and you'll be more well-to-do if money is your goal, or money. One of the things that you want is financial freedom. You got to understand, probably 1% are gonna be able to. You got to be able to fight through that. In sports, you learn that, you know, if I make it to college, or I make it to the NFL, that's just you just got there. And if you think you made it to play college ball and you're going to stop grinding and stop putting in the work that you did in high school or even more, you're done. If you made it to the NFL and you think you made it now that you're in the NFL and you stop working hard there and you don't do what it takes to go to the next level, you're done. And then what else do you learn in sports? How often do we see things on ESPN where, you know, people are making bad decisions and they lose their contract or they lose their opportunity? Sometimes talent will get you to a place that your character cannot keep you. You learn that in life and in sports. And so we got to keep our character in line. If you want a 10-year career, if you want a 20-year career, if you want a 30-year career. And so I just want to, as I wrap this up over the next few minutes, I want to just encourage you out there to start playing wherever you're at, whatever business it is that you're in, whatever it is that you're doing. If you're a student in school, if you're playing sports or whatever it is, if you want to be a beast, get comfortable doing shit that you don't feel like doing. Get comfortable mentally understanding most people are not going to be able to do what it is that it requires. Mentally, most people are going to break. But that's the good news for the mental beasts out there. And I want you to ask yourself a question, whether you're working out right now, you're driving somewhere right now. Do I have the mindset of a champion? Am I developing my mind? You know, people train their legs and they train themselves in sports all the time because that's their money maker in sports. It's your body and your mind, but it's your physicality. When you get into a professional career, the new tool becomes your mind. It's not punching a bag. It's not hitting mitts. It's not Muay Thai. It's not a great leg kick. It's not a great rear naked choke. It's not benching, power cleaning, deadlifting, and I love all those things I just named. But when you get into the business world, when you start doing things like that, that new professional career, the development that you need, the practice that you need is in your mind. Whatever your mindset believes, you'll get close to getting, if not getting it all. But guess what? Your level of accomplishment is going to mirror your level of adversity that you can handle. If you can't handle no adversity, you can't handle the 1% accomplishment. It's easy for people to understand, yeah, out of 1,500 high school athletes, 1% of them play pro. Or 9 out of 10,000 high school seniors eventually get drafted. That's like 0.09%. It's easy, but then you get into business and you're like, well, how come these people didn't make it? Or how come, these 7 people didn't make it that were in my training class or that were in, because it ain't for everybody. Being a 1%er ain't for everybody. Being a professional means that not everybody's going to be able to do it. You got to become a beast. And you got to be able to be a beast mentally when your ass is down. You can't just want the rewards and not handle the obstacles and adversity that comes with it and before it. It's a climb to the top. You can't get there on accident. It's a grind to the top. You can't get there on accident. It's a war to the top. You can't get there on accident. It's a mental fight to the top. You can't get there on accident. And you're going to want to quit. You're going to want to give up. You're going to want to tap. And I'm telling you, don't. You're going to be sleeping with the fishes. When you start quitting and giving up, you start to become like everybody else, a robot. You ain't listening to this if you wanted to be like everybody else. You ain't putting time and energy and effort into listening what it is that I'm talking about right now if you didn't want to be a part of the 1%. If you want to be a part of that 1%, I'm telling you, you got to start developing your mind, and you cannot get down and negative when things don't work out your way. Next week or next month, something's going to happen. It's going to cause you, that's not going to work out your way. If you start getting negative, and you start getting down and you start doubting yourself, you're on your way to quitting. And if you keep on quitting, you're going to have to keep on starting over everything in your life, and you never have a chance to climb to the freaking top. The people that are at the top, they got their ass beat. You can't only want the rewards. You cannot be afraid to get punched in the face. You cannot be afraid to get hit. In sports, you got to take a charge playing basketball. Run into the contact going into the layup. Shit, even playing soccer, you got to get physical now. Can't box if you're afraid to get hit. Can't play football if you don't want to get hit. Playing baseball, your ass is going to get hit by a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. What makes you think that you can approach greatness in the rest of your life and you want to do something great and your ass ain't going to get hit? Stop crying. Put some ice on it. Have your mommy or your boo-boo kiss it for you. And get your ass up and start fighting. That's what's going to win. That's what's going to get you to where you need to be. And it starts in your mind. You start feeling bad for yourself when you get injured. You start feeling bad for yourself when things don't work out the way that you thought that they were going to work out immediately. Temporarily, something might happen and you start feeling bad for yourself. And then you start to get down, and then you start to pop, then you start to doubt yourself, then you start to look elsewhere, then you start the whole process over again. And the people that don't quit, that keep on grinding through the process and they could take a hit, they're either going to be your boss or going to be looking up at them, wishing that it was you, wondering how they are where they are. I got the news for you. The reason why they are where they are is their ass did not quit. They did not tap out under adversity and under extreme circumstances. And the people that are where you want to be, whether they graduated from Yale, Harvard, or they look like they got a perfect smile and a nice suit, they're warriors. Mentally, they were able to get through some adversity. And then you got to keep the same mindset to stay on top until you retire. When you get there, if you plan on staying there, you better keep on working. You better keep on grinding. You better stay humble. You better be coachable. Keep working on your craft. The minute that you kick up your feet, the minute that you start thinking you've arrived is the minute that your ass is going to go from Super Bowl champion to not even making the playoffs. As the leader, I mentioned my coach in college would be there early in the morning while we were running sprints. You think he wanted to be there? As the leader, you're giving people's lives in your hands. To whom much is given, much is required. If you have a leadership ability and capacity you've been blessed with, help other people's lives become better because of you. Care about them. Be patient with them. Lead by example. But sometimes being a great leader means you got to pull more out of people and make them uncomfortable. But it starts with you. Ask yourself right now, am I being outworked? Am I putting more time into things that are not going to make me any better in my business or what I'm trying to be great at? Am I putting more time into that I could be putting into myself or into my business? Are there people in my current position that are outworking me? I pride myself. I've always prided myself. High school, ask a player, ask a coach who worked the hardest around you. I feel like my name's going to come up. College, same thing. Business, same thing. To this day, why? Because that's one thing that you could freaking control. You can control that. If you're being outworked, why? What excuse are you making that makes you think that this shit is okay? Who in your position is outworking you and why? Are you giving it everything you got? Are you obsessed? Are you focused? Or are you expecting to sit at the table with people that gave all when you gave half? Is that what you're expecting? You're expecting to sit at the table with people that gave everything they got and your ass give half. Here's what I know. If it ain't happening to you now, it's on its way. You reap what you sow. If you're taking the easy route, you may get away with it for a minute. You're not going to get away with it for a lifetime. You're going to get caught. You're going to get found out. It'll be karma. You have to either hold yourself accountable or somebody else is going to hold you accountable. And so as we wrap this up today, as we close this out today, I want to encourage you to perform like an athlete, like a business athlete. This is your new field. This is your new arena. Give everything that you got. Be obsessed. Don't look for the easy way out. Understand that greatness is coming to you. Don't quit. Don't give up when things get hard or when you get down. Win the mental battle. And you'll be on your way to greatness. Keep grinding. If this helped anyone out there, please do me a favor. Share this with somebody that needs to hear it, that we can impact their life. That's it. We ain't charging nothing for this. If you got any value, share it with somebody else and let's impact other people's lives together. Thank you for the investment of your time to listening to the Grindcast. Looking forward to having another one. Appreciate all of you. Let's get it. Get ready. It's a new day.
Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast, bud.